Hey everyone, this is Nate and this is the Nader Tater channel. Alright, let's talk about backup internet plans. Now specifically I'm going to focus a little bit more on the business side, but this applies for home use as well in most cases. So now T-Mobile just announced actually a special deal for a business backup internet plan with unlimited data. I'll get into what the kind of terms of service, there are some catches to it. And that is not always going to be this new $15 price, but right now it is, and so you can get it for that price. But I'll actually talk about some other ones, in fact a lot cheaper ones, even one as low as $5 a month, that will be great for some situations from a backup plan standpoint. So let's get into what it is here. Now you'll see here on my desk I do have lots of devices. I'll talk a little bit about that as well, because you might need to know about, okay, I have a backup ISP or a backup service, but how do I actually use that in my business? I'll touch on that a little bit later as well. So to look into the detail, really what kicked off this video was that T-Mobile does have a special going on right now for it. So let's hop into my tablet here and show you what I'm talking about. Alright, so here is T-Mobile for Business, and their current discount is actually half off for this this specific plan. And now, unfortunately, with the tablet, the formatting is not correct, but you can see here it does have the $30 a month crossed out, and it shows the $15 a month price there. And then on the side there, you can see the gray. That's actually them trying to show a picture of one of their gateways. There are several gateways. They do include their gateway for free with the plan. So for that $15 a month, you do get a free hardware, but it's not great hardware. Now this business backup plan does have some catches. One, you do need to be a business of some sort in order to qualify for it, but I personally have found them pretty lax with those requirements. So for example, my channel here is a LLC. You know, I don't have an actual business address that's separate from my home. It's a sole proprietor, and that fully qualifies as a business account with T-Mobile. I do have a LLC, you know, actually formed with the state, and so I do have a tax ID with that as well. But in here you can see that you get 7 days of reliable 5G. Now what is really cool is that it is unlimited data, but there is some stipulations. If I click here in the little fine print where it says see the full terms, let me pull this up. This might be a little bit of eye chart for you on the screen, but it does say that it is you may notice speeds lower than other customers and further reduction if using more than 50 gigabytes per month due to data prioritization. So their 5G internet on T-Mobile has always been either the bottom or very close to the bottom from a data priority standpoint, meaning higher paying people with cell phones get priority data, and then the home internet or business internet gets lower priority. But it normally doesn't happen at 50 gigabytes for the home internet stuff. I think it happens at 1.25 terabytes of data a month, or 1.2 terabytes of data per month. So this 50 gig limit is a huge note to it, but it doesn't mean your speed's going to stop. And then if you look here, you do have the $35 connection fee and maybe $1.40 in taxes. And if you don't return their gateway, you'll charge $370 for it. But otherwise, there's not a lot of catches other than on the business plan. They do have by default a firewall that blocks, they call it security and productivity filtering. But I think you can actually call and cancel that. That does block some like gaming services, some streaming TV type services, and then of course some adult content, that kind of things it also blocks, and malware. Which might be good, you might want it, but you can call and actually turn off some of those filters. Alright, so overall, I think that's actually a really good deal. 15 bucks a month for unlimited for 7 days in a billing cycle. You know, that's not that bad of a deal, and especially, you know, T-Mobile typically guarantees once you get in and locked into that plan, they will not change the rate of that plan later. So even though there's no contract, you're kind of locked into that price, so that's really cool. Alright, and so just a bit I'm going to talk about how do you actually implement this backup ISP to work with your business, you know, network. How do you actually have it automatically fail over and switch to this backup plan whenever your main primary internet fails. But before I do that, I want to talk about one other plan. Alright, so here are the Tello plans, and these are really customizable. They're really in the business of having this month to month, no contract. Set up your plan however you want it. You can modify it at any time. And this is what I actually have. I use it for my 4G LTE cameras that I have out, away from the house where I don't have Wi-Fi. But you can adjust these and make them tailored to your needs. And in a lot of ways, they can be cheaper, especially if you don't use a lot of data. So if you have a business that uses, some like point of sale transaction devices, only kind of using very low data for your transactions that you need to do, then this can be very, very affordable way to do that, either as your main plan or as a backup plan that you have in there. So this one I just highlighted is 1 gig a month with no minutes and no voice or anything, so it's just data, and it's $5 a month. So that's what I use for my trail cams out there. And what's really, you might say 1 gig, that's nothing, I can't do anything, and that's true for a lot of things, but it rolls over every month. So long as you keep paying for it every 30 days, then the 1 gig adds up. So if you don't use any data, the next month you'll have 2 gigs available, and then 3 gigs, right? So for me, I tend to, at least my trail cams, the ones I have, I'm actually adding data all the time, month after month. It's rolling up. So this could be very good if you have intermittent dropouts of your internet service and you can get something low. If you have it more regular, then you might want to opt for the unlimited data 7 days billing cycle T-Mobile one for $15 a month, and that might work out better for you. But I wanted to say this is a plan that's out there, and if you use my link down below, you actually get 2 months for free if you get this $5 a month plan, because it gives you $10 credit, so you can test it out and see if you want it. And now a thing to note is Tello actually uses the T-Mobile network, so if Tello works, your T-Mobile business will work, and vice versa like that. So they're both compatible here. Okay, so talking about how do you actually get 2 different WANs or 2 different ISPs to work in your business network. And the cheapest, easiest, if we talk about like a home network, is just a simple router. This router is less than $100. It's an Asus AX55, and it has the ability of what they call dual WAN. And so you have the blue port, which is your main WAN port, but you can actually designate this other one of these other LAN ports as a second WAN port. WAN is wide area network, so that's what you hook up your ISP to go to the internet. And then if you have the Merlin firmware that's free to install and supported by Asus on these, then you can set that up and have it as a backup, like a failover, so it will detect if your main internet service goes down, and then it will switch over to the backup one. So that's one way to do it, and that might work if you're a very small business where you don't have customers hooked up to it and you don't have a lot of devices. But if you want something more serious, then you might go to something like this Chester Cheetah device. This is a V2 unit, and what's cool about this one is that you can actually take the SIM card out of the gateway that T-Mobile provides, and it actually slides in here, directly in here, and this has a built-in cellular modem to it. And then you also have the blue WAN port that you would hook up your primary ISP to, and then you have 2 LAN ports that you could use for other things, but remember your SIM card is in here, so it has a backup feature in the settings where you say, hey, use this WAN port as my primary, maybe it's fiber, maybe it's cable internet, and then if that drops out, then switch over to this T-Mobile SIM card that would be set up. And the benefit of this unit over like the stock gateway from the cellular standpoint is it has a lot more features. It has band locking, and it has much easier access to these antenna ports, so if you do need to change your antennas or something, you can do that where the stock T-Mobile gateway doesn't give you any types of those settings, and most of their gateways don't have the external antenna ports either. But if you want to go further, and these kind of go up in price. So that Asus one was like $100 for that one. This one is probably going to run you around $450, depending on the configuration, the modem that you get. If you want a full, business class one, this is a PepWave. This guy's like $1,000 or more. They have other ones like a Balance 20X that I've had as well, and that one I think is over $1,000 when you get that. But it's literally designed specifically for this type of load case where you have multiple different ISPs and you want to balance them across a few of them. So these ones also have the SIM card slot that you can use, but they can also do things like WAN over Wi-Fi. So technically you could have the gateway hooked up and you're not messing with anything, and you can have this connect to its Wi-Fi and it would use that Wi-Fi as the backup WAN. So that's also kind of a neat option that can be done with it as well. Me personally, at my house, I actually have a TP-Link Amada setup. I actually have a video. I'll put a link to that, I guess maybe up here, that I can have up to 7 different ISPs all plugged into it, and it does balancing across them, or I can do failover backups, that kind of stuff with them. So that's my solution. That router, I think it was not that expensive, maybe 140 bucks, but you might need some other hardware as well depending on your network. So that TP-Link Amada is another option as well. I'll put links to all of these options down below, as well as videos of some of these devices if you want to learn more about them. If you have questions about this, then feel free to put a comment down below. I do try to read those and get to them. And then if you have any suggestions about more videos or other questions you want answered, please add those in as well, and I will try to get to those, and perhaps I'll do a video on it in the future. So thanks for tuning in. Good luck. If you're trying to get that backup plan, go get it right now so you snag that discount, and then you'll be locked in.